Hey there and welcome back to Figure Barn, our first video of 2025. Now we're kicking off the new year here with another array of figures. We've also had some fairly decent luck on a couple of hunts over the Christmas period. So today we'll go through completion of our Funko Fusion Pop figure set. Yep, that's right, we've finally gathered the entire collection. That's excluding the New York Comic Con show exclusives that, you know, a bit harder to find over here in the UK, but it's looking absolutely epic. That's not all though. We'll also be diving into an assortment of other hair-raising horror movie Funko Pops as well that send shivers down your spine. So grab a favourite cosy blanket to hide under, turn down the lights and join us as we unbox and showcase these fantastically frightful figures. Are you ready for a fun-filled fright fest? Let's get started and see what we have. So we're going to kick off today with Funko Fusion. As I mentioned in some previous videos, I do primarily only collect movie pops, as you know, but we will dive into others every so often, and one of these is the Funko Fusion ones that were released in line with the game last year. Now this is mostly due to certain movie figures being released in this set that weren't available in the actual movie line themselves. Now I've already got all the standard sized figures apart from the New York Comic Con. There was 4 that were exclusive just to the show. I'll put them up on screen so you can see which ones they are. We don't have those yet, but we'll track them down eventually. But apart from those ones, we do have all the standard size figures there, and that's where I planned to stop really. But I stumbled across a couple of things that I couldn't sort of leave in the shops basically. So starting off on a trip to our local shopping centre with my boy for a present for his mother over Christmas. We took a little detour out to HMV and I saw this just sitting there waiting on the shelf, waiting for a home. It's the Blair Monster Chase from The Thing. Now it's a oversized pop, but the Blair Monster from John Carpenter's 1982 movie The Thing is one of the final forms that the alien takes in the movie. It gets its name from Dr. Blair, who was a biologist at the Antarctic Research Station where the events unfold. Now, Dr. Blair, played by Wilfred Brimley, is assimilated with the Thing as the alien's infection spreads through the camp. And this is an amalgamation of the various creatures and humans it's absorbed along the way, with multiple limbs, appendages, and sort of grotesque features, basically. Now this is the first chase that I've ever actually seen in HMV. I was surprised it was still there. It was right, just a few days before Christmas. Just sitting there on the shelf. Somebody else did pick it up to have a look at it, but luckily they put it down and walked away, so I nipped in there and decided that we'd take it home. Now this is another one of the edified versions of the Pops, named after the main protagonist in the Fusion games, Eddie Funko, which gives it this sort of purpley look and the hypnotic mad eyes that it has there as well. Now in the movie, the Blair Monster itself was originally planned to have a much larger role in the final battle, but the stop motion animation limitations back in the early 80s sort of limited its appearance to just a single minute. I'm sure these days with multiple CGI budgets the way that they are, then they could have made a lot more of it, being such a spectacular monster that it is. But yeah, pleased to have this one in the collection. Don't usually go for oversized pops, but yeah, we made an exception with this one. Right, so next up from our local Smiths, we picked up, just about get it on camera, Scare Mare and Scare Glow there, from Masters of the Universe, but also from the Funko Fusion set. Now this is usually priced up at about £25 in the UK here, which is approximately $32. But managed to pick it up for £15, which is less than $20, which is pretty much in line with the standard pops over here. So again, a decent deal in my book, and one that we couldn't just leave sitting there on the shelves when we were, looking at these Funko Fusion pops. Scare Glow is a shifty bounty hunter named Null, who sought the secrets of Castle Grayskull. After his death, his spirit was cursed and banished to the dimension of evil. He returned as Scareglow, a ghostly figure with the ability to create terrifying illusions and haunt his enemies. So in Funko Fusion, the actual game, he's like an end-of-level boss in the He-Man chapters. Now it does look like it should glow in the dark, but it doesn't. Obviously with the green wings there and the legs on Scare Mare, it looks like it probably should. Maybe they missed a trick on that, or I don't know, would have made it turned it into an exclusive, made it even more expensive possibly, I don't know. Now the other thing about these Funko Fusion Pops as well is they all have a redeemable code within the box for additional DLC content in the game. Now I haven't actually taken any of those out of the packaging, I don't tend to, so they're all in there. I don't think there'll be anything special that anybody can't find on the internet. Now when I was a kid I had a lot of the original Masters of the Universe figures. I don't actually remember having Scareglow back in the day, but having a quick look on eBay, I think for a good original figure of him now, probably cost you over £300. So yeah, if you've got one lying around or sitting in your parents' attic from the 80s, dig it out and it might be worth a little look on eBay. Now also just before Christmas I took a trip up to see some family up in Yorkshire in the north of the country and visited one of the very few Funko specific shops that we have in the UK called Hull Pops, which is in a town called Hessel just outside of Hull. Now most of their pops are fairly new, so there weren't that many that I actually needed for the movie collection, but we did manage to pick up this, which finishes off our fusion set basically, and it's the chase variant of Jurassic World's Indominus Rex. So another chase that we found out in the wild. So again, this has the purple look, denoting it's been edifiled, including those crazy eyes that you can see there and the purple effects all over it. Now I am generally a fan of the Jurassic dinosaurs. To be honest, they do look even better in this sort of bigger size, being a deluxe one, which also makes more sense, I suppose. Being a dinosaur, they weren't the smallest creatures in the world. Now it does also mean that the only chase that we're missing as well from the Funko set is the Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. I'm still looking out for it. I have been checking every so often, just seeing if it's been tucked away anywhere, find it out in the wild. Haven't found it yet, but we'll keep looking. We'll keep looking. It seems a shame just to have the one chase missing out of the whole set now. Now if anybody does want a video covering all of the Funko Fusion Pops, I'm more than happy to put one together. Just put it in the comments and we can go through and do a full showcase of all the Funko Fusion ones. So, having delved into the imaginative world of the Funko Fusion Pops, now let's shift our focus to the spine-chilling and captivating horror Funko figures that bring your favourite Fright Night icons to life. And we will start with another oversized pop that we picked up from Hull Pops, at the same time as the last one. And that is one of the xenomorphs from Alien Romulus here. Now Alien Romulus is set in 2142 and is somewhere between the original Alien movie and the follow-up Aliens. It follows a group of young space colonisers who encounter a deadly xenomorphs while scavenging a derelict space station. As they seek to escape, they must confront the horrifying creatures and the station's dark secrets. Now, the xenomorph itself is a terrifying and iconic extraterrestrial creature known for being highly adaptive and its lethal nature. So, here, he, I go with she's for these basically, with a sleek biomechanical exoskeleton. You've got the long segmented tail sort of wrapped around her body there. I don't know if you can see that in there. With a deadly blade and an elongated sort of slightly phallic head as well going on there, and the menacing inner jaw within there as well. Now this is the non-scorched variant. There's another one that was released at the same time, which is the scorched xenomorph. I still need to pick that one up. This was just an opportunist pick-up basically at the same time as the last one. Now there has been 3 other variants of the Alien that have been released. So one in 2013, which we do have, one in 2017 that we don't, and another one in 2019 that we do. And there's been 2 other separate ones of the Alien Queen as well that I'll also be on the lookout for in the collection. But there we go, there's the xenomorph. So moving on, we have 2 figures from the Nun and the Nun 2, starting with the demonic version of the Nun from the original movie. Now The Nun is a gothic supernatural horror film directed by Colin Hardy and written by Gary Dauberman from a story by Dauberman and James Wan. So it serves as a spin-off to The Conjuring 2 and is the 5th instalment of the Conjuring shared universe. The plot follows a Roman Catholic priest and a young nun in her novitiate as they uncover her unholy secret in 1952 Romania. Now this is a Funko Special Edition, which is a re-release on the Funko Europe website not long ago. Captures the demonic presence of Valak in all its horrifying glory. Now it's got the piercing eyes and it's got like a navy blue kind of tint to the figure there. I think you can see that on camera. Gives it almost a sort of ghostly, demonic, I guess, look. Now there is a non-demonic variant, which is more of a sort of standard black rather than this blue. I believe that's just a common pop. But there you go, there's the demonic nun there. And here we have the newer variant from the nun, which is from the second movie, which was released in 2023, so a couple of years back now. Now this movie is set in 1956 in France and follows Sister Irene again as she confronts Valak, the demon nun, after a priest is murdered and the evil sort of starts spreading. Now this is a sort of fresh sculpt to the nun, giving it an even sort of scarier look basically there, almost like her skin is sort of disintegrating a bit there with the blood coming through from underneath. It's got more of an intense yellow eyes rather than the white in the previous pop that we just showed. Almost like she's staring directly through you there. Now from the Conjuring universe, as well as the 3 nun pops that I've mentioned already, we also have pops of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the sort of main characters out of the Conjuring films, and you also have a deluxe figure of the Crooked Man from the Conjuring 2, as well as La Llorona from the Curse of the La Llorona, which is a bit of a mouthful to say, which is also from the same universe as well. So there's quite a few about from the Conjuring universe in total. Okay, so next, and travelling back in time to the mid-1980s, we have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, with Gonk there. Now, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, is an iconic alter ego of the actress and performer Cassandra Peterson, known for her witty humour, gothic glamour and captivating presence. Elvira has become a beloved figure basically in horror and pop culture over the years, and here she is, instantly recognisable by her striking back and purple beehive hairstyle there, pale complexion, fairly dramatic makeup as well, which includes sort of the dark eyeshadow and the bold red lipstick there as well. Now she often wears sort of tight-fitting black dresses and plunging necklines, accentuated by a sort of belt with a dagger. I don't know if you can just see that in there. There's actually quite a nice touch to have that on there, and it all adds to a sort of gothic and seductive allure. If we turn it around, you can see the more iconic sort of picture of her there. Now the little dog down here I suppose, that's Gonk. Now Gonk was originally a small fluffy white poodle, but he undergoes a magical transformation into a sort of more punk rock look that we have here, complete with mohawk and dyed fur. Now recently Funko have released 3 different variants of Elvira and Gonk. So there's this one, which is the Funko.com exclusive, as you can see there with the sticker. There's also a standard one that we have here, as you can see. We'll put them next to each other. You can see the different colourings and on there. I quite like the common one, to be honest. I think the bow and the pink dress just gives it a bit more zing, if you like. And there's also a third version, which is Blacklight one, which is exclusive to Funko Hollywood, which again is going to be a tricky one to get hold of. I believe she even went and did some personal signings on that one at the time as well. So yeah, that's another one that we need to fill a gap in the collection basically. Now the next one we have is a bit different, and if we're staying in the 1980s, Creepshow was a 1982 American horror anthology film created by George A. Romero and written by Stephen King. It pays homage to the EC horror comics of the 1950s, and it blends sort of the macabre stories with dark humour and grotesque twists within the sort of short films. It consists of sort of 5 stories within the movie itself, each introduced by the sinister and eerie character known as the Creep. And from the story The Lonesome Death of Geordie Verrill, we have Geordie Verrill here. Now this was a story about a hapless farmer, played by Stephen King himself, who encounters a meteorite that brings a bizarre and deadly sort of alien growth that slowly overtakes him. Now this is the flocked version, which gives it a perfect look for the sort of lush alien vegetation that engulfs Geordie in the story. Now underneath that growth you can just about see sort of his brown checkered shirt and his blue dungarees as he sits in his armchair as it slowly sort of ravages his body there. Now this is the only Creepshow pop that's ever been released within the movies line. There has been 3, I believe, within the TV line for the series that they made a while ago, a couple of years ago maybe. So there must be scope for more. I'm a big fan of these films. There's been 3 of them. My favourite was Creepshow 2, which has a couple of great films. You've got The Raft and you've got the Hitchhiker, and there must be scope to get some pops out for those eventually. And next, from his menacing debut in the original 1988 Child's Play movie to his evolution into a sort of horror icon, Chucky has carved his way into pop culture with a gleeful grin and a blood-sloped blade. He has also spawned an awful lot of Funko Pops, and this year has been no exception to that. We have 5 to go over today to close out this video, starting with the good guy Chucky in his pumpkin there. Now honestly, I'm not 100% sure what to make of this one. It's not from any particular movie itself, but it was released around Halloween time last year, almost as a sort of special edition I suppose. Now if we look on the back, there was another one released in a similar sort of colour variant that we have here. I didn't pick that one up, but I do have that number in the original paint job with a proper sort of good guy in his normal sort of get up basically. So I didn't feel the need to pick up this one. If I find it on sale, you never know. I'm not really a fan of this sort of, remake of doing them in sort of odd colours to fit celebrations and things like that. It's almost like a kind of blacklight version, I suppose, but here it is with his good guy features rather than his more evil look that he's associated with as well. Popping out of the pumpkin there, he's got a green bladed knife and iconic dungarees with a stripy jumper, although this version is in green and orange rather than the sort of standard red, yellow and blue that we're more associating him with. There you go, I suppose it's an interesting pop and a distinct sculpt there for Chucky. And so the next 2 that we have, I'll do these next 2 sets in pairs, it seems to make sense. These are rather bloody versions of Chucky and Tiffany there, so I'll put them both on the mat together, as they should be I suppose. Now The Bride of Chucky is the 4th instalment of the Child's Play franchise. It follows the story of Tiffany, played by Jennifer Tilly, who's a former lover of the infamous serial killer Charles Lee Ray. Desperate to reunite with Chucky, Tiffany retrieves the remains of the doll and successfully brings him back to life using a sort of voodoo ritual. However, their reunion takes a deadly turn when Chucky ends up transferring Tiffany's soul back into a doll as well. So they feature Chucky and Tiffany, both covered in blood. Chucky here is holding his axe and Tiffany's got a bloody knife as well. Move those around a little bit, we can just about see those. Now the boxes themselves also have sort of blood spatter on them. Both Funko special editions. I believe in Europe, yes, we have the shared stickers here. But in the US, I think these were Entertainment Earth off the top of my head. They were, EA exclusives. So Chucky here, we have the stitches across his face, where he's been sort of put back together, basically. His iconic, more standard sort of good guy doll dungarees there and stripy jumper. Whereas Tiffany has got her iconic sort of wedding dress that she runs around in, with a leather jacket there, which she sports through most of the movie as well. So it's a good sort of likeness of them. They do come out quite well, these Chucky and Child's Play pops. So for a little fun fact from the film, the date on Tiffany's newspaper clippings at the beginning of the movie and the date of death on Charles Lee Ray's tombstone in the film as well is the 9th of November 1988, which is actually the release date of the first Child's Play movie. So, yeah, little fun fact to look out for if you're going to go back and revisit the film. And finishing off our video today, we have another pairing of Chucky and Tiffany. And this time they are themed for Valentine's Day. So similar to the Halloween themed pumpkin Chucky that we saw earlier, generally I'm not too much of a fan of the purely sort of holiday celebration themed pops. But at least with these two, they've made a bit more of an effort than just the standard sort of paint and pink that you get with a lot of pops for Valentine's Day. Now both Chucky and Tiffany here, their usual standard outfits have been changed to a more sort of, well, it's quite an eye-catching sort of red and black there, which is quite tasteful. Now although, we start with Chucky, he's still carrying his axe in one hand there. In the other hand he's got a rose with the skull's head on top of it there, ready to give to Tiffany. And Tiffany here is clutching a big box of chocolates that she's either ready to give to Chucky or she's just received them, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, she looks fairly happy about it, doesn't she there? And that wraps up another deep dive into the world of Funko Fusion and horror Funko Pop figures. I hope you enjoyed exploring these creative and spine-chilling collectibles as much as we did, filling a few more gaps in the collection. If you enjoyed seeing these mashups and horrifying figures, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Funko movie showcases. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update of our latest unboxings, reviews, or even visit our website and see if there's anything we can help you fill some gaps in your collection. We'd love to hear from you as well. Drop a comment below and let us know which Funko movie figures are your favourite or what you'd like to see us cover next. Other than that, we hope you have a great start to your 2025 and we'll catch you in the next one.